This is a shakedown. Order up that beat just like a steak.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Unemployable, the podcast for people who don't fit neatly into job descriptions and honestly probably never did. Today's guest is Alfie Martin. She's a senior product designer. Hi, Alfie. Welcome to
Hi.
Unemployable. Tell us about yourself, who you are, what you do.
So, hi, I'm Alfie. You may know me as the girl who leaves snarky comments on people I don't know. So, comments on LinkedIn. I'm just kidding. You probably don't know me. You maybe do. I grew up in New York City. Was born in a country that doesn't exist anymore. But first language was Albanian, which was a country I'd never been to. So my beginnings are confusing. I started doing front end development and design when I was in high school, and from there, it kind of just it came natural. It was like me and a bunch of my friends, with our nerdy Mac laptops, playing, messing around with HTML. I didn't take the typical path with education. I took some years off. I told my parents I was going to Brooklyn for the weekend, and I didn't come back. And then I started making art. I don't know, doing the typical I'm a barista thing, all of a sudden group shows or curating shows, creating a community with my other friends too, as well, of artists and designers for close to a decade. It was great. And then I went to school a few years later than my peers, and I didn't relate to any of them because I didn't understand. I had been working my own private studio for so long. I was very interested in the unusual juxtaposition of different mediums, whether it be technology and I don't know, marble, whatever the case may be. So I worked as predominantly for myself for years as a artist. And, occasionally I would be asked to do a rebrand, website design, which was fine with me. When my career started getting a little more elevated, and this, keep in mind, even though I've had a portfolio since I was 16, at the time I had one crappy portfolio and an Instagram. I'll give the social media props for that.
I remember those days.
Yeah, it's kind of funny too because as a rebellious kind of person, just by what I personally wasn't allowed to do, I ended up working for these stuffy kind of companies. But there's pros and cons to startup versus anything. And I would say that I think that people who have these breakout moments in their careers where things don't go in your linear path and you end up going down this weird windy road, I think those are the superstars. Those end up being the superstars. In whatever field they want to end up loving and staying in and being really fulfilled in.
Yeah, I think it's hard to touch on a few things that you said. It's
Yeah.
hard to not have a linear path and to not know where
Yeah.
you belong. But I think
Yeah.
that the people who don't know where they belong are the people who can make the most impact when they do land somewhere because you
Yeah.
have a unique voice
Yeah, because you've
at the end of the
traveled,
day.
and you've made you know what you don't, what you're not great at, what you are, and then in a way that kind of has you have a sense of confidence in that. It's I'm confident I suck at this, but
Yeah.
I'll kick its butt.
Mhm.
So yeah, for sure. I need to tell you something. From the years of 2000, late 2018 and until 2021, I was employed, but I still went on every single job interview request. So and it amounted to over 600 interviews because
Wow.
I kept seeing UX hiring is broken. It's broken. It's broken. And I see a lot of it was people pointing out problems but no solutions a lot of the time, which kind of I do it too. We all do it. But I was trying to figure out why does everyone think that? So I don't know. It's weird because the only thing that's consistent with UX is that your role is different depending on where you're working, and and the people overemphasize the titles. I find that I find you very brave online, but I do find that a lot of people extremely cowardly. They'll every s- I was laughing at every single post I've seen on LinkedIn that starts with spicy take, but the sky is blue. It's oh my God, I'm blown away.
Yeah. I mean, I got a lot of hate. I actually got so much hate this
Oh,
past week from a
cool.
whole bunch of people.
Incels?
Um,
I assume it's
it
incels. Oh,
I get a lot of, pitches from people. And
Yeah.
then I'll normally respond and say, I'm not interested right now, but some of them
Yeah.
will come back at me being like,
Are they trying to sell you stuff, you mean, like pitches?
so, like, they're trying to sell me it's a lot of MLMs, believe it or not.
Oh, MLMs are everywhere these days.
Yeah.
How do they go about talking to you? Like with this? They just push it
So
out there?
yeah, so I accept most,
Me too.
connection requests,
Me too.
and they'll come at me like, "Hey, are you interested in XYZ?" And I'll say, "No, thanks," and they'll come at me being like, "This is a great opportunity, you should really jump on this," and I'm just, "No, thank you, thanks for reaching out," and then they'll just, like, keep going, 'cause they're trying to sell me
Is
to
it usually men or women that
it's
are like
always been
this?
men. I've never had a
You
woman.
know what you should say? It's kind of this is kind of actually spicy. You should say to those men, "Is it like don't you think it's like less sexy when you had to convince a woman though?" Like, and then they might like get freaked out and insecure and stop messaging you.
Right. Yeah, it's
But
really weird.
I hate the cold pitching.
Mhm.
I okay, so this has been happening like the past few couple of weeks, but I am getting messages from random women that zero context, and they launch into this full story about like their life story and their breakup and their like startup. I'm like, I'm sorry, ma'am. Like this happened the other day. I was like, I don't know what you're talking about, and you called me Phil. I'm not Phil. She's like, I know you're not Phil, but women have open hearts and they need to know. I'm like, do you want me to beat him up via LinkedIn? And she's like, no, I still love him. I'm like, I'm still not sure what this is. And I'm just like, is this like, I feel like maybe it's like some weird cult that's not very good at it. Because then my friend Joel Barr, who I actually started following you I sort of started following you because I saw he was following,
He's
leaving
so
comments. I'm like,
funny.
she's hilarious. And Joel likes her. Boom. I love Joel. He's amazing. And so, yeah, so he's like, I got the weirdest message too right now. Zero context, just like launching into a I was like, and these stories are ridiculous.
Crazy. LinkedIn, I feel like, has a bunch of different people on it now. It used to be,
Yeah.
just
Well,
professional.
yes.
Like
Yeah.
how
Yeah.
Facebook used to be just for college kids. You had to have a college email in order to sign up.
Yeah.
And now it's just I feel like there's all these different types of people. People who are trying to push an agenda, people who are
Yes.
trying to grow a
They're
business.
so obvious too, those
Yeah.
people,
I
right?
don't like it. I don't like it at
No,
all.
no, it's like I'll like start to read a post and it's okay, and then at the end it's like, "Hi, I'm," as if their name wasn't there. "I'm like Matt McSchmo, and you can buy my course to learn more about how to
Right.
like do this." I'm like, okay, so no, I'm like completely okay, so me, for example, a lot of my clients like are not on my LinkedIn because they've been like short term like contract kind of things for like the big three or what or like private private equity shit. So like my rule of consulting, for example, like because there's a lot of consultants out there,
Huh?
and don't get me started on coaches. They do not. They belong on a on a sports ball field. So, but like but with consulting, if like people want to do consulting, it's like Fight Club. The first rule is don't tell people you do consulting. Just like sometimes write some stuff and that you feel like writing, and the consulting gigs will come to you, and then you can overcharge McKinsey for like $1,000 an hour or some shit like that. Sure, you'll deal with Harvard legacy grads, but at the end of the hour, you can tell them all they need to do is replace the CEO with AI, and they'll be fine. So didn't take my advice, but but yeah, like I feel like people are looking for like trying to like high paying that or maybe fractional kind of leadership roles, which like that doesn't happen overnight either. Like that
Right.
takes like so much word of mouth,
Mhm.
taking one job after the other.
Yeah.
And it's like do you think that getting a job with a startup versus like a bigger company is which is harder or annoying, more annoying?
I mean, I have never worked for a startup, so I can't really
Lucky.
say,
Okay. No, I'm
but,
just kidding.
I feel like ad agency is kind of startup mentality because you're on 24/7, you're
Chaotic.
the time, yeah, it's chaotic, but for me personally, I would rather work for a larger company
Me
than a
too.
startup just because I feel like startups, they have a tendency to abuse their employees.
I know, it's toxic.
Yeah, and I'm really not about that.
Yeah, me neither.
and
Yeah. It's like actually I don't like I didn't make up the fact that like founders in Silicon Valley are having to take etiquette classes on how to be humans. Like that's real.
is that real?
Yeah, like, I have to find the article, but no, yeah, it's, like, on Verge or something like or maybe not Wired, but TechCrunch or Gizmodo or something.
Wow, okay.
So when, like, I don't know, like, why like, the secondhand embarrassment I feel for some people, even though I don't care about them or know them, they just come up, is like, why would you post it like that photo? Someone and people kept saying it was AI, but it wasn't. It was like, dude, like, and he had like two desks behind him, and then there was camping tents in this tiny office.
Oh, yeah, 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 that was for Google, I think, wasn't
No,
it?
no, no. It was for like it was like either a company, like a startup that was acquired by them, maybe.
Maybe.
But the dude was like, we work all day and night here. If you can't handle it, blah blah. I'm like, and I'm just like, this is so embarrassing for you.
I know exactly what you're talking about. I saw that post too.
Yeah, it's like people who say they're busy all the time and they're so busy. I'm like, you're no, 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 you're bad at time management, actually. But no, yeah, a lot of startups, mainly I've had like a few really good roles, but what was different is the average startup founder, like kind of like grows something substantial is in their 40s or 50s. So like these kind of fetuses running these startups, like I okay, so this is why everyone's a criminal. Scam economy 101. One time I went into an office of a Y Combinator backed startup that I had an interview at. I like walked into a house of horrors. It was like a small office that looked like someone let loose 2 dozen toddlers and with crayons all over the walls. No context. Like garbage everywhere. I sit down and I see that everyone there looks like they want to die. Um, and I see that the founders who look like they hate each other. They're kind of speaking with like really like kind of I just like I can't lip read, but I could see their facial expressions. They're kind of like the staff is kind of like depressed about talking, and the founders are dicks. So I leave, and the only cool chick was the COO. So I email her. I'm like, hey, I'm taking myself out of here. Your founders hate each other. There's something sketchy going on, and your entire staff are depressed as hell, and there's garbage everywhere. I don't know what the cutout of that baby was, but I don't. And also, this business model, it doesn't really scream not fraud or money laundering for foreign internationals to me. So I'm going to go with a no. Like months later, I get a random text from a random number that was like, how'd you know? I'm like, who is this? And they're like, how it's like what's her name? Like Chelsea from so and so. I was like, how did I know what? Like what do you saw? Because she's like, how did you know like all the stuff you said in the email? I'm like, oh, well, their body language was kind of like they were like it's like two magnets and don't go together. All of your staff like had really like gloomy looks on their faces. And then like on top of that, I saw that you had just fired your entire design department. And she's like, oh yeah, like I'm suing them now because one of the founders stole half their YC funds, bought a condo and like a Bugatti in Spain.
Oh my
And
god.
the other one like owes me a lot of money. I was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry that happened to you. You seem like the only human person there. And it's just like crazy. And that's like probably happens all the time.
Yeah, I'm sure.
So like I agree though, like it's like I like the kind of like knowing that like even though HR are the cops, when push comes to shove, like having them. And I guess like for me, it's all about like what am I feeling throughout this process? Is it
Mhm.
going well? Is it stressing me out? Am I gonna have an aneurysm? You know what I mean? So that's like because I never know what to expect. Sometimes I've had I've been like in interviews. These are like virtual, right? Where the guy interviewing me is in front of a literal giant plane. Then some other dude, I guess on a rolling chair, strolls
No.
in. And I was like, who the fuck is this? And he's like, he started without me. He's like, hey, I'm like, oh, like Bob, the principal. Like, I'm like, hi, nice to meet you. Immediately, like that, he goes, literally falls asleep. No joke, not even a joke. He didn't wake up the whole interview. I was like, oh my God. That was actually like really funny, actually.
I had a pretty bad one where
Tell me.
I was a little bit I had signed on. I normally don't sign on till if the interview starts at 10, I'll sign on at 10. But for this one, it wasn't Teams, which I'm used to. I think it
Yeah.
was Zoom. So when you like click the button, it signs you on right away. So I
Yeah,
was
yeah.
2 or 3 minutes early and
Uh-huh.
they were already on it and they hadn't muted themselves and they were talking about me. And they were like, "I don't know if so and so."
It's my worst nightmare.
Yeah, he's like, "I don't know if so and so is gonna like her. She's a little bit too strategic for what we're looking for. We kinda just want a doer." It was for a senior product designer. They just, they want a lot of people just want doers. They don't want people to question the
Oh, like question. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
so
they
they
want yes people.
Right, they want the yes man. And then
Yeah.
I was like, "Hey, guys." And they're like, "Oh, hey." But, yeah, so that was, like, super awkward, and I
But, like, that is really awkward. Like,
Yeah.
did that go further, or were they realized they were stupid as fuck?
So they're like they realized that I heard them, and then, like, halfway through, they're like, "So you heard us?"
Mhm.
"Yeah," and I was like, "Yep." And they're like,
Yeah,
"Okay."
it's like, "Yeah, I heard you guys gossiping about me."
Yeah, we chatted a little bit more, and then after it ended, I wrote them, like, an email being like, "Thanks for the opportunity, but I'm really, not interested." And
Yeah.
they wrote back something funny. They were like, "Yeah, duh," like, and they apologized. I get that you talk about the candidate. That's
Yeah,
ev
but, like, just be a little less dumb about it.
Yeah, just, like, make sure you're on mute next time.
Yeah. Like, I would have, like, given them a lecture. I'd be like, "Did you know that gossip was first given a negative connotation is because women were giving each other information that men would not provide, and
Right.
in order to help themselves?" Like, so, like, I understand why you guys are gossiping, but, like, maybe be more careful about it because
Yeah,
what you think like, and, like, this is I always say this, but what you guys think about me is none of my business.
right, it's none of my business. Agreed.
I've also advised, like, I can't I don't know how many, like, countless, like, startups and people's just like, you're not looking for a UX product designer, you're not looking for strategy, you're looking for a digital designer or
Yeah,
or a production. Let me here are two things that you like about this. You tell them what ugly component to make, they'll make it, and okay, they'll make everything you want. Just how as ugly and stupid you want it, and they won't question
and
you
they won't
because
question.
they love Figma so much. So you'll be fine. So why aren't you doing that? And plus, it'll be less salary.
Right. Yeah, I think that I love this topic. I was just talking about this with another one of my friends. There's
Yeah,
really 2 subtypes of, let's say, design professionals or
yeah,
creative professionals
mhm,
that exist right now. There are the production designers that will just do what you tell them. They are not strategic. They don't wanna be strategic. They just wanna sit and make shit. Whether it's cool or not, they're just production designers, right? They wanna get
yeah,
the job done. They're like a number people. And
yeah.
then there's people like us that are super strategic, that think about why are we doing it this way? How should this live online? How should this live offline? And a lot of people I think now don't really understand that there's a difference.
I know. Um, I don't know, like those people that have the remote controls for those fake humanoid robots versus like someone who like, I don't know, engineers it and is a conversational designer. I know, but I don't know why that metaphor that might or might not make sense.
No,
But
I
yeah,
mean, it
it's
does.
true,
I get
true.
it.
It's
Yeah.
like a lot of like when would see a lot of posts, but I don't know where they went, but like early stage or newer designers, a lot of like entitled posting about like how the dev team won't like, create their Figma prototypes the way they design them and all that. I'm like, they can't. They
Right.
never are
That's
like,
not their job. It
and let's
never
get real,
was.
like, how many of us have actually really, like, at length, like, dealt with, like, these, like, super fancy interactive micro animations, like, background moving, like, high fidelity level prototypes, like, that many times? Like, it happens, obviously, but, like, a lot of times companies, like, already have those components in their design systems kinda in a way, or, like, so it's like you don't need to be, like, designing these, like, movies in Figma or whatever. I also, like, I get really sick of Figma. Like, I like to I guess we're the same in common, I like to look at things from, like, a high level, so the granular starts to bug me because it's like I there are plenty of, like, good, like, user interface designers that or, like, I don't the ones that even, like, work in tandem with, like, people who know UX or interaction design. But, for me, over the years, I've been struggling to try and figure out, like, where the hell do I fit into my roles? Because, like, I feel like, a lot of my positions I've gotten, like, have been an accident. Like, and I don't
Organic.
really I don't believe in, like I'm sorry?
like you fell into the role organically. It kind
Yeah,
of worked out to where you were at the time that this was needed, and I think that those are the best types of roles because
they did end up being the best ones.
yeah.
You're right. So at that, but I know that like also like it's like a stressful because like okay, it's like I'd love to work in AI, but I don't want to work with these models. Like because as they're getting so as like six companies are just passing trillions of dollars to each other along in this there are startups that are working in robotics to help fight climate change. There are startups in healthcare that are working to cure diseases that we've been trying to cure forever. Not that big pharma cares about that. Like, then those startups, like being left without funding, then that's the fucking travesty, there. And you would think people who are obsessed with longevity would like maybe be interested in those kinds of things. But like another thing I just find weird is like with the you like you've worked in all different types of design niches, right?
Yeah, I
Like
mean, you mean like
not just UX and product, like you've worked in brand and like different.
yeah, everything.
Yeah, so yeah, me too. So I feel like what I noticed is the difference with UX design, kind of like people like is like just in slightly like with personality going from like coming from a brand or visual or kind of like brand systems, but like is that I didn't know what the chip on the shoulder is with the UX people, and the only way I could describe it best is they. I don't know why everyone sounds like they got rejected from their top STEM choice college or something. Like, I just find it confusing. Like the past few years rejection of like creativity and artwork as culture
Well,
is such McCarthyism, fascism, because there's no artists out here trying to trick people into thinking their paintings or whatever medium they're using is utilitarian design work.
yeah, I
Like,
think that oh my gosh, I wanna touch on this a little bit because I think that what's been lost, and it's been for me the past couple years, the idea that your brand is more than just a website, that your brand is more
it's
than
so
what
much
just
more.
is online.
It's
And
so
I
much
think
more.
that, like you said, it's become completely totalitarianism where everything is starting to look the same and nothing feels unique anymore, and brands are dying.
Right before Italy became fascist, there was a group of artists called the Futurists,
Yes.
and they wrote so okay, cool. So then, like, so they were like pro technology and all this other shit. Like, one of the painters wrote the first book of fascist propaganda. Like, it's called like the Book of Fascism. I don't know. And when they were swallowed up by Stalin or whatever the first one is. So it's like stop hating on artists also, because you're also like, even if you're being a fascist or not, you're still like kind of ripping off their work and making fun of them, but it's not really registering. That's a history burn. Yeah. I'm a nerd. But I guess like I've been trying to, with all of this, kind of all I can do is take it with some humor, because the job market is such a nightmare. If we all like, if I per- this doesn't work for everyone. This is not to say that like we're not all struggling. I don't presume to know how at what levels, and I'm not going to assume that. But if I don't take the time out to laugh and just take a step back at how like ludicrous like everything is, I don't know I don't know what I'll do. Like, I just like. How like I like you are an amazing writer. So is that therapeutic for you?
Yeah, it is. I mean, I'm super spiritual. I meditate at
I
least
meditate
a
too.
day.
Yeah, it's really amazing.
But I don't know, I had so much anger in me when I first started writing on LinkedIn about the job market and about these people who were interviewing me where they couldn't even answer basic strategic questions about their brands that I asked. And I just had so much anger. Like, how did these people get to these positions? I don't understand. And when I started expressing that on LinkedIn and,
Yeah,
messaging old coworkers or messaging friends and asking
yeah,
them their thoughts, and
yeah,
it's so nice to feel like you have a community where you can talk about these things really openly and other
yeah.
people
Because it used to be so
understand.
taboo, like just a
Yeah,
few years ago,
it
and
did.
I hated it. I think it's great that you've like opened up this dialogue, and like seems that you're growing this community. It's really important because people need that a lot. I mean, like I've had I can't tell you how many times I've asked crucial questions, and almost literally every single time I've asked the crucial question in an interview, not salary related, but more like something like, does this job like do you have a 30, 60, 90 like set in place for this
Mhm.
job? Is
Right.
this like end stage final interview? No.
Yeah.
And that question has never once been answered. Like any of the typical, you're supposed to ask these questions that are asked, I've asked them. And they have been answered by the people interviewing me, the hundreds of people that I took the time to interview with, just and like seriously, like maybe less than 5 times. So I've even
Pick a
yeah, go on.
If you
Yeah.
can pick one inherent problem that you've noticed across the board with all of your interviews, what would it be?
In terms on like my flaw or like the systematic flaw of
No,
the
like the
interview.
systematic flaw of the interviewers, of the people that are interviewing you.
So what I find is like that it's like the typical like looking for things to exclude someone and basing like and then you get to a panel interview and the whole it's like when a company is serious about hiring, they're going to hire and they're not going to. So the panel interview is it's also a lot of it is theater. So you're in a panel interview, you have to make sure that you seem competent, not too competent because the guy over there is giving you the side eye and you don't want to seem like you're going to make him look bad, but not like lazy because the lead over there is going to be giving you is going to give you the side eye about being a slacker, but like just enough. But you can't read minds and you can barely read like micro expressions. And then you take your time to present your case study, ask if anyone has any questions. No one ever does. And then it's like crickets. And I'm like, if the people who really make the decisions for hiring, like see that their team is disengaged or if their team is so insecure that they're threatened by like a new person at all, there's something deeply wrong within that organization.
Mhm.
Like there's like some clues there. I think that for me, what I consider the experience, customer experience, brand is a part of every customer or user touch point that someone has, whether they're a candidate, a user, whoever is a part of the user experience. Candidates talk. If you're putting people through interrogations and making them cry.
Literally, one of your largest target audience are the people who almost worked for you. Because if you
Yeah,
think
no
about
shit.
it, if you're hiring for one position, you're going to interview what, 20 candidates? If you're lucky, if you have that much time, those are 20 people who interacted with your brands.
Yeah.
And I've went on 12 interviews last year, and every single company except for one, there was one company that treated me with respect, with
Like
honesty.
they were that disrespectful. Like,
Oh my god, there was one company where I was recommended for the job by the CCO,
uh-huh.
and
Wow, that's a
um,
that's a that's like a solid
yeah,
recommendation.
they strung me along for 7 weeks.
7
7
weeks?
weeks. They're
What
like,
were they doing?
"We have to interview everyone who applies. We have to give everyone a chance. We're very behind in interviews. You were
Okay.
recommended when the job before the job was posted." And I was like, "Okay, but, like, the CCO."
Get that legality bullshit. They could have interviewed
7 weeks? 7 weeks.
2 people in one day, and then
Right.
they would have
Oh,
been not legally
and
liable
then
for shit.
when I
Oh
followed
my
up,
god.
I had to follow up. I followed up 3 times. By the
Yeah.
3rd time, I was like, "This is the last time I'm gonna follow up." Then the recruiter wrote me back with the wrong name. I was like, "This is insane. I can't live like this. Like, I'm not." And I really wanted the job at first. And then she called me to find out why I took myself out, and she called me by the wrong name again,
With the wrong name, how about that?
twice. 2 different names.
Twice! That's, like, insane, and, like,
You
6
know?
weeks? That is so nerve-wracking.
Yeah,
And,
it's not
do you
nice.
think that there was, like, a moment during any of that that caused them to be such dicks, or do you think that that's just who they were as people?
I don't know. I don't know what they were thinking or, how their interview process worked, but, like, it felt really disrespectful,
That
and
is
then,
disrespectful and just,
I
like,
yeah, and I had, other interviews where I was disrespected in person by the interviewer, and,
how does someone just do that?
just so rude, just super dismissive. I feel like, they probably felt threatened, like you said, like, you have to be very careful with what you say because you can't threaten senior leadership, but you
Especially if you're a
also.
woman. Have you ever been in an interview where someone's interviewing you and you feel like this person doesn't know how to interview
Yeah.
or this person is interrogating me and that is not what I agreed to.
Yeah. Oh, I've gotten interrogated. There was one, it was a panel interview. It was 3 of them at one time, and it was literally
Jeez.
like question, 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 like nonstop. And then at
Yeah.
the end, they all stopped, like at the same time, stared at me, and then they were like, "Do you have any questions for us?" It was so weird.
Was this Microsoft?
No.
Sounds
It wasn't.
Microsofty. Microsoft does
They
similar,
were
but
very
like,
corporate. It was a very corporate company. It was
yeah, okay. No,
strange.
yeah, you don't have to say the name. I understand. And Microsoft, they interview people. Some roles is like they'll have one person come in, another one out. It'll be like 7 hour long, and they'll like say like opposite things and like all this other shit. I'm like, why are you torturing people to work for you? Like, and at the same time, you're trying to replace them all with AI. You're stupid. I have heard like, no, yeah, I mean, I think that like the best way to interview people is to like, look at like a few resumes, pick the first like few that like really pop out, have an initial like, meet and greet, a casual one, and then pay them to hop on for 2 weeks, see how they work.
Agreed.
In a startup, like I think, because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter like how like, comprehensive their experiences in design systems or I don't know, like native mobile apps or omni-channel experiences. It's like, how are they going to make those things happen with your team currently? Because I think that there's a lot more to consider than just like domain knowledge and experience. It's like personalities that work well together need to be considered. Like if you have one person that's like needs to be like this and that's just like who they are, but they're great and they're kind, they're a good employee, and you have another person who's also great but in a different way, like it's like, and how to like address conflict within those teams. Some people who like maybe make a mistake, we all do, what they need is like, hey man, oh, you kind of missed that one thing on that one thing, just could you fix it up when you get a chance? That's it. But approaching that person with a lecture, that's
Right.
gonna fuck them up.
Right.
Whereas another person, something might be going on with them, and you should be like, "Hey, is everything okay? Like, because I noticed you missed the thing on the thing." And this like, "Yeah, I've just been having some issues with getting sleep at night. I won't happen again. I'm tired." Like, well, go home early and get the day off.
Right.
I don't know, be a human.
Right.
To
We're
like,
humans talking to humans. And I think that out of a lot of people that I've spoken to, I feel like they forget that we're not just, oh, this is interview number 316. No, this is interview Jill DiBenedetto. You're talking to a person and it does.
we've prepped for this. Like,
Yeah.
we stayed up late, we woke up early. Yeah. No, I know. It's like it is disheartening. It's like it's two things are happening where companies are pretending they're not using AI for candidates. They
Right.
they have been using AI since like 2018, because I know that because I was interviewing with companies around then that were using AI for hiring. Not necessarily like for excluding resumes, but for certain keywords being used on certain platforms by certain users. And then
Right.
they would approach them about a job.
Yeah.
Secondly, the candidate side, and I've tested a few of these tools out just to see, like, but like they auto apply to hundreds of jobs for you everywhere.
Yep.
They're terrible. They're terrible. Don't you? I don't know if they'll ever be good, but I just want to tell you, I have never gotten disqualified from a job at Geico before. That's right. I don't even know what that means. But like after trying one of those tools once, I was like, why would Geico disqualify me? Would they tell them I'm like a felon? Or I don't know why companies disqualify candidates, or why they would even email them to tell them that. Maybe they saw maybe they saw there was AI. I don't know. But like, they were applying to roles I didn't want to or had no experience in. It was really weird. Yeah. So like, so I know that other people use this phrase to describe other things, but I see this as an efficiency paradox.
Huh.
Remember, like, so I saw a video of this woman where she's saying she was applying to so many roles, getting nothing. It was like not in our field, but it was something like in nursing or like maybe not in nursing, but like physician assistants. And I was like, do you remember like a few years ago where ATS machines are programmed incorrectly, and instead of like putting that nurses needed a knowledge of data entry, they put nurses needed a knowledge of computer science. So over 20,000 like applicants were auto rejected based on that error alone. Like
Wow.
maybe it's something like that because ATS is capable of like
Oh,
mass
for sure.
rejections.
Yeah.
And I'm a little weird where like if I haven't had a phone call from a company at all, or even if I had just one, don't don't send me a rejection letter. We never dated. Don't break up with me. Like you don't get that right. Like I get it when it's like later on, like that's fine. But like I feel like it feels like getting broken up with someone I never dated. I'm like, I forgot what
Yeah.
this was.
Yeah, it's like when you apply to something in June and you get a rejection letter in October when you haven't spoken to one human being, it's like, when did I even apply for this job? And you
Yeah.
know what I found out is that if you get a rejection email months later, it's because the job poster closed the job on LinkedIn.
Oh,
If you apply,
finally. And
like,
so
through
that's when they send
LinkedIn,
them?
yeah, so if
Yeah.
you apply through LinkedIn, even if you clicked through LinkedIn to the job site,
Yeah.
the minute they close the job,
I
LinkedIn
see.
has your email and they
Yeah,
automatically
on
send.
this sword, yeah.
Yeah,
I see, like, that's why I try to, like, not apply on LinkedIn and just go to the website.
right.
You know how, like, when you were, like, have you always worked in design?
Yeah, I've always been a designer.
So, like, when you, like, first started or when you're in college, like, did you ever, like, have, like, an idealized, like, version of a type of, like, industry or job you would work in one day
Well,
that
yeah,
was,
for
like
sure.
that seemed, like, so cool?
Yeah,
Like because I know, like, it's so boring that, like, a lot of people's are, like, the FANG companies. I don't know if that's still the truth, but mine was always, I'll work at one of those companies for a little bit so I can find a small, like, really freaking cool, like design agency that's like really high quality, that like takes on only the clients they want. It's like a small team. We work
right.
on really like interesting stuff. That's always been kind of like my like daydream of a job, like because it'd still be professional, it wouldn't be a startup. Like I feel like I like agency work. I haven't had an I know that a lot of people don't. I know the agencies have been hit hard, right?
Yeah, they
Is
definitely have.
so do you like working at agencies or
I
no?
I
Or it
prefer
depends on the agency?
I prefer working for bigger agencies just because
Yeah,
I like I'm a very type A designer where I like things to be have a structure, but I
yeah,
also like I feel like with larger agencies, there's more of protections in place
yeah,
you as an employee because they do employ, over 50 people and
yeah, it's
get
true.
better benefits, and things like
Very true.
that. I used to be all about the work. Like I used to be like, I'm only gonna work at a place where the work is amazing and I can work on XYZ, but my ideology has completely changed. And
Yeah,
like
yeah, we
y-
all evolve, right?
yeah, I want to say, and I just want to work with good humans. I obviously want the work to be great and I want it to make sense and I want us
Yeah,
to do things in a positive way. But for me now at this stage of my life, it's are you a good human? Do you treat me like a human? Because
yeah, because those little things say a lot, you know,
they
like
say a
like like
lot.
people can tell when you're judging them, or being and I agree with that. Like I don't like it because like, work takes up so much time. Our time is like our most precious resource. Like do not like especially with before it, but even during like working there, don't waste my time.
Yeah.
And also you so I'm so like something like Ogilvy would have been like dream job kind of thing for you.
I mean, I veered towards web
Okay, yeah, yeah,
when I
yeah.
studied advertising when I went to ad school. So like my
Cool.
dream agency back in the day was AKQA. I loved
Okay,
them. I thought they were doing super cool shit.
cool.
I ended up working at Razorfish, which,
Oh my gosh, I have applied there a couple of times and gotten rejected both times. Or weren't they owned by Publius
yeah, so
Sapient?
Publicis, yeah,
Yeah.
acquired them. And, I think that that was probably like one of my favorite jobs that I had.
It was really cool working there at one point.
It was really cool. I worked in the New York office, the Fort Lauderdale
Nice.
office, the Miami office, so I kind of like
Nice.
jumped
So you
around.
got to travel all around?
So I started in the New York office,
Oh,
and
okay.
then I went to the Miami office, which at the time was Sapient. I don't know if you're familiar with them, but they're
Oh, yeah,
consulting.
yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
then so we did like super cool shit, and that was like the
that's
age of
awesome.
the Flash website where, it was really like it was like
I
micro
forgot about Flash for a minute. You just like flashback. Did you also use Dreamweaver back then?
or Streamweaver, yeah.
Do you like every time you like say Dreamweaver in your head, you say I believe we got through the night because I feel like who doesn't do that? Like, yeah. I forgot about Adobe, R.I.P. But anyway, no, cool. I was curious because I read Rory Sutherland's books.
Huh?
I don't know if you've ever read any of his stuff or if you like his vibe,
I do.
but I thought his book Alchemy was really good.
I love alchemy.
He was so good. I love the point you made about how much money they spent on the London Rail because they approached it from an engineering point of view. where if they made the ride more enjoyable, it would have been a fraction of the cost, or like just like that way of thinking. Because a lot, like a focus on STEM in this country
Uh-huh.
has actually contributed to this kind of crisis we're in like a lack of intelligence, because you can take the most like a statistically like kind of like proficient person ever that's studying certain data sets,
Right.
but when it comes to like applying them correctly in the correct context, they're not going to understand any of the numbers that they've been looking at. And it's like, so it's kind of like it's kind of having the reverse effect that like people who are dumb enough to apply computer based logic to human beings do, so it's kind of odd. And maybe like I may be preemptively noticing this, but you'll notice it too, because like I'm just like kind of like a my favorite thing is people watching and like listening to talks, and like I'm always audio booking it because I'm ADHD, like to do multiple tasks. So with your newfound LinkedIn fandom, do you plan on releasing coloring books for adults?
Coloring books, actually. I have one
Oh, really?
that my friend got me. Yeah, it was sitting on the side of my desk. I must have put it in my bookcase, but it has a lot of F-bombs in it.
Nice. Is it like a story based on you, or just like a story based for adults
It's
kind of
just like
thing?
a coloring book for adults.
Cool.
And she knows how much I like the F-bombs.
No, yeah, me too.
It's like
Like, fuck it.
it's very,
Um,
very fun.
yeah. So, like, what's the weirdest job you ever had that was like design sort of related, but maybe not exactly? Or like, random, if you want to talk about it. I just thought I'd ask you that because I thought it'd be interesting to know
Yeah,
about
I
it.
don't know if I don't think I've ever had a weird job. I don't know, I take everything with, like, a grain of salt, so, like, if the client wants it, then it must be important to them.
I mean, like, kind of like if you zoom out, like in like all like the types like projects you worked on or whatever, you don't like one weird one doesn't stand out or anything, or a
No.
random. No,
I've gotten to work on, like, really cool, fun stuff.
I have too. For the most part, they're
Right.
so okay. So I know their time's up, and you
Yeah, I
probably.
think I have some great content, so we
Oh,
can
really? Good, good, good. I hope it wasn't too blabby, because
No, it was
I
perfect.
try not to. I
It was
do
great.
blab. You are great.
Oh,
It's
thank
been
you.
awesome. Let's
Yeah.
have a. You should throw a Zoom podcast party
Oh my
at
gosh, I
some point.
should. That's such a good
That'd be so
idea.
fun. Or like make it like a
Yeah,
game that's like Brady Bunch but fun. I don't know.
I love that.
It was so fun to chat. Let's be best friends. Text me every
Yeah.
5 minutes. And to the rest of you, bye bitches.
Bye, guys. See you next week.
Get up on your feet, this is a shame.